listening to Give God 90, where we're not afraid of the tough biblical questions, because we will dig through the language, the culture, and the history to find the truth revealed in the words of our Creator.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for spending some time with me today. I am not exactly monitored or supervised. Myra had an opportunity to go with some of the ladies, and she says, "I'm going." I said, "Okay." She does a lot, and I try to encourage that. But getting used to this new thing we're doing where we're not live anymore, I said, well, we'll just do it, a certain time. And, well, the call came when she was invited to go, and I said, that's okay. I'll take care of it. It's not a big deal. So you're kind of stuck with me, but that's all right. I hope that's all right. Some things I probably should address, and it's tough. It's tough. Many of you know the folks in New Orleans are going through quite an ordeal right now, and that's kind of a shame. That shouldn't have happened, but it did. A lot I could say about it, but I won't. It's just something that shouldn't have happened. Las Vegas, same way. Shouldn't have happened. But I think we can see more and more of this in the next several weeks. Not just in the United States either, around the world. I think there's going to be a bit of an uprising. There typically is after the first of the year. A lot of things happen, and for a lot of reasons. Politically is a part of it, but there's many other reasons as well. And that kind of leads to this question that I came up with, and I've been pondering this for a few weeks. Is social media relevant anymore? Is it important? Is Facebook important anymore? I don't spend a lot of time on social media, mostly because I don't need the drama. It's just not something I want to be part of. There's other and better places to get your news that's typically going to be more reliable. I try to go to the sources. If a news story has a link to a website, let's say they're talking about I don't know, bats in your belfry, whatever the story is, I will go to that website and actually read the article. I don't depend on the news editors to give me accurate information. I want to go back and find out where they got their information. But that's just me. And I think it's a growing concern among people. I think people want to know, am I getting the truth from the sources I'm hearing? There's a lot of things today that we have to be very, very leery of. AI is one of them. There's pictures out there that look good till you really start looking at them and you realize it's fake. There's stories out there. I think last week I saw Will Smith died again. He didn't. He's fine. But, that was circulating again. So those things we need to be very, very, very aware of when we're looking at social media and when we're looking at the news, really, and saying, what's the source of this? And go read the source. Don't depend on somebody else to tell you. Go look at the source itself. So those things are out there. We need to be aware of them. We need to be careful of them. So just watch yourself. 2025 is going to be an interesting year. It's really going to be interesting. We'll see what happens. And that sort of leads to what I want to look at today. Unity in the Bible and unity among people. Now, I'm not talking about just in the United States or just among certain groups. Worldwide. And when I say worldwide, I'm using that word world the way Samuel would have used it the first time in the Bible. He means everyone who is alive or who has ever lived. Okay? So I'm encompassing a large number of people here. But I've looked at this before, but not from this aspect. Okay? Not entirely from this aspect. Is there anything that mankind has conceived or contrived or come up with that truly unites people worldwide? Now think about that for a second. Has mankind ever had an idea, a concept that truly united people worldwide? Everywhere. Now there's a lot of things that separate us. We have our national pride, and that's not bad. That's not a bad thing. Nations should be able to compete with each other to see who can who can run the fastest, who can produce the best automobile, who can do whatever it is that we do among the nations. But national pride isn't one of those things that's going to unite us. It's going to separate us to some degree. I know the Olympics, when I was growing up, was called, it's the great peace. Well, no, it's not, because competition, even though it's healthy competition, it doesn't bring peace. It brings competition. Now, the athletes that compete with each other are on a totally different plane when they're there. They go, they compete. They're doing the same thing to see who the best is. They make friends that last lifetimes, that cross all kinds of boundaries. So for the athletes who are competing, yes, it can bring them together, but it doesn't bring the world together. It doesn't unite the world. In fact, this last Olympics, I think we can see a great deal where it actually separated a lot of people. So national pride can separate. Certainly, race separates, ethnicity separates, religion separates. And if you think, all Christians think the same, no, they do not. Why do you think there's 43,000 different denominations of Christianity today, right? Culture separates. If you think about food, what one culture considers a delicacy may be offensive to another culture. If you think about entertainment, drama's kind of static in a way, but drama typically pits good against bad in some way. But one culture might see it one way and another culture might see it another way. Comedy is where it really stands out. Comedy, what one culture thinks is funny, another culture may find offensive. What a different culture may think of as absolutely side-splitting hilarious may be absolutely boring to someone else. And really, when you think about comedy, there is that huge language barrier because some jokes don't translate at all. They just don't. So we can see how comedy, even though we think it might bring people together, it actually works to separate some people. there was a ventriloquist who traveled around the world a few years ago. I think he still is. And he had to change some of the things he said, some of the things he did, so he wouldn't be offensive to others. You see, there's a long list of things that mankind has done and conceived that separate us, but very, very little to unite us. In fact, I was trying to think of anything that mankind has come up with that actually has the opportunity to bring people worldwide together. Now, when I say this, I'm not talking about forcing people into anything, right? You're not going to force people into a box. You're going to give them the opportunity to either join or not be part of it. But has mankind ever come up with anything worldwide that gives us that chance, that gives us that opportunity? I don't think so. I can't think of anything. But our Creator, on the other hand, He offers us something that does unite us. Now, we can reject it if we want, but He looks at us and He says, here this is. And the amazing thing about what I'm going to talk about is that even though it unites us, it gives us the opportunity and the freedom to be individual. Isn't that amazing? Now, I know nothing mankind has ever thought of that can do that. But our Creator, in His wisdom, has offered us something. He says, here is a way to come together. Here is a way to be united. Here is a way you can stand together while at the same time maintaining your individualism, being who you are, because I'm going to give you the freedom to do that. Listen to something that Moses has written. It's in Exodus 19. Moses went up to God, and the Lord called him out of the mountain, saying, "This is what you will say to the house of Jacob. Tell the children of Israel, you have seen what I did to the Egyptians, and how I brought you out on eagle's wings and brought you here to myself." This is not, by the way, in any translation. I am paraphrasing a little bit. Now, therefore, okay, because you've seen what I have done, now, if you will obey my voice, keep my covenant, obey my voice and keep my covenant, then you will be a special treasure to me above all people, for all the earth is mine. And you will become a nation and a kingdom of priests, a set-apart nation. These are the words you will speak to the children of Israel. Of course, that's Exodus 19, 3 through 6, is what I was paraphrasing there. You see, what unites us is accepting the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Saying, okay, this whole creation must be yours, because nothing else could do this. Nothing could conceive this. Now, what unites us when we accept the God of Abraham is obedience to his word, keeping his covenant. And it doesn't mean we give up being individuals, because nobody should expect everybody to do things exactly the same way all the time, right? With some minor exceptions, kind of like since we're speaking biblically, I'll use the priests who were actually serving in the tabernacle and later the temple. They kind of had to do things exactly the same way every day, right? It was you have to do this way. But outside of that, well, let me use this example, okay? Do you think when the priests left the tabernacle or the temple, when they went home, did they do things exactly the same way? Well, that would just kind of be silly, right? Let's look at the Sabbath for a moment. If a priest had children, he's certainly going to observe Sabbath differently than one who didn't have children. If he was married, he's going to observe Sabbath differently than one who was not married. If he was young, he was going to observe Sabbath different than one who is old. You see, within the commands of our Creator, there is a great deal of individual freedom, and it is there on purpose. There is a lot of room within the parameters of our Creator's instructions for personal freedom and personal thought. I hear people all the time, oh, we've got to obey these 613 commands. You can't. It's impossible. No one person is responsible for all 613. Because some are for children, some are for men, some are just for women, some are just for the priests, some are just for the priests who are serving in the temple or while they're serving in the temple. Some are just for animals. So you can't observe all of them. But you do what you're responsible for, right? There's a lot of room for personal freedom and personal thought. New ideas, not all of them are going to be welcomed, but they're all welcome to be debated. New concepts are welcome to be discussed. New inventions are welcomed when they make life a little easier. Nobody's going to make something that makes life harder, right? Well, except governments. Governments make life harder sometimes. In the Hebrew language, okay, if we look at the original language, and I'm a fan of that, it is impossible to have unity without using the first letter in the name of the Creator, the Tetragrammaton. Think about that. You can't do it. And there's a reason for it. When we extrapolate that out, when we carry it out to, and I won't say extremes, but linguistically, okay? When we extrapolate that out, it means that without the Creator, there cannot be real unity, right? Now, I know that some English translations sometimes replace the word unity with harmony because it shows that we would be in agreement, right? I think Acts says of one accord, right, in the King James. But that's only a part of how unity is understood in the original. It's more like to be as one. Not to be one, but to be as one. You work together as a team. You bring your best effort for the good of everyone. And it doesn't matter what the team is. If it's a sports team, it doesn't matter. The people come together and they they are individuals, each using their best skills to accomplish a common goal, a common function. And that's what unity is. You come together bringing the best you have to benefit everyone around you. And none of that is possible when we separate ourselves from the Creator. Oh my. Do you think it is possible, if you separated yourself from the Creator, do you think it is possible to be the best you can be? Ooh, there's something to think about, right? So you kind of need to be united with Him if you want to become the best person you can be. I know there's a lot of people out there going, well, I don't know. Hitler was probably the best person he could be because he was the best evil he could be, right? That's not what I'm talking about. and I'm not even talking about people like, what's his name? Hawkins, the physicist, the astrophysicist, who rejected God. He was an atheist. And while he was alive, people were amazed at some of the things he came up with. And now there's, he might not have been so right about this. They're starting to pick apart his work. But because his work was based on secular theory, it's kind of easy to pick it apart. Some of it he's got to be spot on about because it was mathematics. Numbers very rarely lie. You can manipulate them, but they don't lie. One of the things that really isn't talked about, especially among Christians, is Judgment Day. Okay? Judgment Day. How will the Creator judge? Think about this. Is He going to look at one person and say, I'm going to judge you on how well you can play the piano? And then turn around and look at somebody else and say, well, I'm going to judge you on how well you play baseball. Is He going to look at another person and say, were you a good cook? No. He is going to judge based on exactly what He said that would unite us. Right? What did He say? If you will obey my voice and keep my covenant. Now, there's going to be a lot of Christians out there who are going, oh, wait. No, we have Jesus. What did Jesus say? What did He say? When faced with temptation, Matthew chapter 4, what did He say? What did He say? Y'all know. I'm not going to go over it. Go look it up. Go look it up. So, He's going to judge based on who did their best to be obedient and who simply flat out rejected what He had to say. Now, I've spoken at great lengths before how this comes straight from Ezekiel 18 and Revelation 20. Spent a lot of time doing that so that regular listeners will know. They won't have to go look it up because they've already heard it. But go look it up. Look up Ezekiel 18, Revelation 20, and actually read the words that's there. The only thing that you're going to be judged on, and it's going to separate the sheep from the goats, is what He has given Moses and the prophets to write. And there's so much individual freedom in that, while at the same time having the ability to unite people worldwide. So that brings me down to one question. And this is a question for you to work out with fear and trembling And that is, are you willing to be united with the Creator and the people who will choose him? Are you willing to be the best you can be because you're going to be united with your Creator? Are you willing to encourage others? Are you willing to be part of that team that worked together to achieve a single goal? And that single goal is not individual goal. That single goal is for the united group, the team, the unit, working together to reach that goal. I'm going to encourage you to choose very, very wisely because, well, it's worth it. I've seen it. I've seen people, when they try to be the whole team, it doesn't work. Everybody loses. I think many of you may have seen that as well. So I'm going to encourage you to choose wisely. And if you choose that team, if you want to be united with the Creator, with the people worldwide, past, present, probably future, who choose the Creator and his ways, if you make that choice, don't try to stand out and do it yourself. Be united. You still have the individual freedom to bring ideas and express concepts, but don't try to stand out. Just be the best you can be. So, until next time, I offer you many, many blessings, everyone.